Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest North versus South podcast with your hosts, myself, State, and my co-host, Heath. How we going? Good weekend?
Mate,
What's going on?
everything non-football related, brilliant. I'm in a good place. Football related, it's been a tough time. All sorts of things going on, as you can imagine.
What Heath's on about here, folks, is we're recording on Monday, the 24th of January at 20 minutes past 8 in the evening. His team, Watford, have just sacked another manager. That is their 15th manager in the last 10 years. Quite excessive.
Do. Another one bites the dust.
Yeah.
Another one.
We've got the name of our podcast right now.
And it got to have a grumpy looking Claudio on the front, just looking all grumpy and moody. I think the hardest thing is that in the past, when you used to sack managers, it used to be because you've fallen out of love with them and that, you know, you've kind of looked and lost respect for them and stuff. It's now got to the point where I was texting my dad today. I was saying the last 5 out of 6 managers that we've had that we've sacked, we've really liked them. And we feel really sorry that it didn't work out. You know, we've built rapport with them. It's not worked out and we've moved on to someone else. I just hope that we go out there, prove everyone wrong, get the right manager in at the end of this season and stay up. And that it's so easy to look at Watford and say, what the hell are they doing when things aren't going so well? But when you see us get promoted, we're in the Premier League. I know we're struggling at the moment, but we've got 18 games to go. We could easily stay up. We could still finish mid-table. It's not complete. Exactly. And I hope that they get it right, because I think I speak for a lot of Watford fans where I say the board have done incredibly well for us over the years, but I do think that, you know, something has to change. I think it's not so much when they're sacking the managers, it's really who they're hiring and why they're hiring them. And, you know, when they brought in Claudio Ranieri, it seemed like a right decision at the time because of his experience, and he knows how to, you know, he got Sampdoria out of relegation and moved them into a mid-table, comfortable, you know, team in Serie A. And then he moved on, and it didn't work for Fulham, but we felt that he didn't have the players at Fulham compared to the players he had at Watford. You know, it is what it is. It's really disappointing, but unfortunately, my frustration isn't just with Watford, but we'll move on to that. Let's kind of, you know, how are you, mate? How are things? I saw Rotherham got another cheeky win at the weekend.
Yeah, back to winning ways. 1-0 win at home against Cheltenham. Much needed win for us as well. We've been on a little bit of an iffy run of late. You know, when I say iffy, you know, we're winning every other game at the moment. So we've dropped a couple of games, which sort of seen us out of the top 2 at the moment. But we're 3rd place. We're 1 point behind second place, and we've got 2 games in hand on them. So, you know, we're in a positive spot. But yeah, all's good with me, mate. So today's show, in terms of what we've got for everybody, we'll be going through our game week review. Got an interesting one. We've still got a game to go, which is in about 10 years' time, I think, the final game of this game week. There's a bit of a long wait. We'll be going through our shit list as always. Then we've got a new feature this week. We decided we wanted to sort of celebrate, you know, goals and the things that happen in the Premier League. So we're going to do a goal of the week. So picking like the best 3 goals from our regions. So I'll be picking 3 goals scored at the weekend from the northern teams. Heath will do it from the southern teams. So that's something new that we're doing. We'll have as mini league updates, score prediction results. We're not going to do a game week preview this week because, you know, like I said, it's the 24th of Jan when we recorded this. The next game week's not until the 8th of Feb, I don't think. So I think we're going to hold off the game week preview this week, but Heath has promised me a belter of a quiz. So yeah, well, let's crack on. And we've got a game week review then to start off with, Heath. So you're up. How's your team doing at the moment? I know there's still a game left, which you'll have someone involved, but where are we at?
Yeah, before we came on this call, I think I was a little bit kind of, I didn't realize that I was as close to yourself as I am. I looked at my team, and if I'm being honest with you, my defense saved me massively. But the game week started absolute disaster. I went out with my friends, and one of them came back from the toilet all excited, said, "Oh, you never guess what's happened at Watford Norwich." And I'm thinking, he seems very positive. This could be good. I knew we were 1-0 down, but it was, Watford have lost 3-0 at home to Norwich. Okay, there's one blow in the knackers. Oh, and Dennis has been sent off. Double blow. Down I go. After a lovely night out, down I went, and then a little bit drunk. I had to go back on the tube. Found myself on the wrong side of the Northern Line. Had to go back on myself. Then went back to my other half, who couldn't understand why I was so despondent. But that's how I am with football and Watford. You can lose 3-0 at home, but you can't lose 3-0 at home to a relegation rival. And your fantasy captain can't get sent off in the same game in the first game of the game week. It's just too many blows all at once. So yeah.
Brilliant.
It was
priceless.
Yeah, I would say that actually my game week improved a lot more than I thought it was going to. But I think the thing was that gradually as the game week went on, you could get the vibe that a lot of people were also struggling. So it wasn't like, I had a terrible week and everyone else had a good week. Yeah, so it wasn't a very good week.
Low. The average points this week's really low. So.
Yeah, so the average points is 30. I'm currently sitting on 40. I played my wild card. I've still got a couple of players to play. So I've got Foster in goal, who didn't play against Norwich. He had COVID. So I would imagine that he'll be fit for the Burnley game. So I would imagine that there's still points there to get. If he doesn't play, that happy days, I've got Martinez on the bench with 5 points. So, I'd probably prefer not to play, I guess, because it's Burnley away. You never know. But anyway, so my defense, and again, the one thing I should add here is that I played my wild card this week because of the players I brought in. I felt like I needed to change it around. I had a lot of Chelsea players, had a lot of, I didn't have many. I mean, it seems stupid now, but I had no Watford players apart from Foster. And I wanted to get some in because it's a double game week, but also I wanted to get some Arsenal players in because I got a lot of fixtures. I was really looking forward to having some Villa players. I went against my own advice, so I'll get onto my team. So Rudiger stays around. He is probably going to be an ever present unless he gets injured. So he got 6 points, and he got 7 points, 1 bonus. Then I got Kieran Tierney. He also got a clean sheet and he got 2 bonus points. And Luca Din, who got an assist, a clean sheet, and 3 bonus. So, I mean, that is a really good start.
And a coin to the head as well.
Bottle of Lucasade or something. I don't know if it was 4 or not, but when I saw him going straight into the team against United, I thought, wow, he is a fun player to have if he's mentally with it and he wants to play and he's motivated. Then he might not need to worry about clean sheets. And in the end, he got both. He got a clean sheet and assist. So I think that was a good move. Anyway, I've got Bukayo Saka. I've got Jared Bowen. So Saka got 3 points. Bowen got 2 points. Philip Coutinho, 3 points. And Martinelli, 3 points. Then my strikers, they all had stinkers pretty much. Kane, probably a little bit unlucky with disallowed goal. Seemed a bit soft, but he got 2 points. Had he scored that, Rudiger would have lost points. So it didn't really matter for me. King, who's still got another game to play, just the 2 points so far. Burnley away. To be honest, I would have imagined he was going to be an ever present in the team under Ranieri. Who knows? The new manager, he might mix it up. And Dennis, capped him, -2 points. Stinker.
Consolation's got to be he was the most captain player in the game week. So everyone's loads have added a stinker with him.
Exactly. And I shouldn't say this because realistically, people shouldn't play fantasy football this way, I don't think. But I like to hedge my bets. I never really like to really go in on Watford. But I just thought they're playing 2 relegation rivals. King and Dennis, they seem to score a fair bit. And I mean, Foster could have made a lot of saves even if we couldn't keep his clean sheet for love and money. So I thought it would be a smart move to go for a couple of attackers. I was thinking about Pedro as well, but King takes penalties. Dennis has been on form this season. I thought it was a good move. Foster, like I say, could have made a lot of saves. In the end, it didn't turn out. But you never know with King. And Dennis, I mean, I think I'll probably still keep him in my team. I think King probably might be getting moved on next week. I've got quite a lot of money in the bank. But I just tell you about my bench as well. Cucurella with 2 points. Reguilon, I don't know what happened to him. He didn't play. I don't know if he got injured or something, but that seemed to be odd. And then Conor Gallagher, I brought him back in. So I took him out when he had COVID. I wasn't too sure when he was going to be back, but I like him. He's a good player. Just like Cucurella and Reguilon, all 3 of them have been like pretty much ever presence in my team all season.
Yeah.
So he got a 1 point against Liverpool, but they're all on my bench with Martinez, who I did say to you, because he made such a howler the other day for the Fernandez goal. I thought I said I wasn't going to pick him, but I went against myself there. And there's my 3 Aston Villa players. I think the only other Aston Villa player I was thinking of, and this is just because does seem to be a feel good factor at Villa at the moment, and they've got this whole. You just kind of think they've got some good players there now, and they're starting to attract even better players like Coutinho and Din, and they are now kind of seemingly getting. Gerrard seems to be putting things in place, so they seem to be it seems to be working. Now, the only player I look at right now, I think, if he starts hitting form, I'll be gutted that I can't get him in. Is Danny Ings? So the 3 Villa players at the moment might be a silly move, but we'll find out, because I think Ings is the kind of player that Gerrard would want to play, but he hasn't really been as valuable as Watkins has to the team. He hasn't really had that impact like he had at Southampton.
He started the season well, didn't he, Ings? But then he
did.
Yeah, he sort of faded away a bit. I think he picked up a knock or something as well. And yeah, it's not, like you said, Watkins is more the grafter, isn't he, out of the two? And
basically,
sort of Dean is, more the finisher. But good. Well, 40 points. And like you said, it's going to be a close one this week. And well, like I said, I think I really do. Well, I know there's no doubt about it. I do need Ben Foster to play in the next game and not get more than 2 points. And I need Josh King to do the same and only get 2 points, because that would mean I will win the game week, because I'm on 45 points at the moment. I played my wild card as well. I've got a strong bench this week, which has really annoyed me, but I'll get on to that. So, I brought Sarr in goal for De Gea, which obviously turned out to be the wrong decision because Wolves conceded. Man United kept a clean sheet. Sarr also picked up a yellow card, so he only got 1 point in the end. Connor Cody got 2 points for me, which was annoying. Cancelo, only 2 points for Man City. Didn't get anything. City didn't keep a clean sheet either. Bad week. Trent, just 2 points from him. Obviously, Andy Robertson was the assist king this week. He got a couple of assists in it. Trent didn't get anything. No clean sheet bonus. So defence has really sort of let me down this week, unfortunately, which hasn't been happening of late. So it's I suppose these things happen though. Midfield, Maddison, just the 2 points. Played well, I thought, for Leicester. Just didn't quite go his way in terms of getting a goal and assist this time around, which it's not been like him of late. So that happens again. Bruno got 3 points. Man United kept a clean sheet, obviously, so he got a point there. Jack Harrison, I jumped on that bandwagon after his hat trick, thinking they played Newcastle. I really fancied Leeds to beat Newcastle.
He had a really good chance as well. He got in a really good position. It was blocked by Newcastle defenders. He's unlucky.
Yeah, so which was disappointing. I thought Leeds were going to do better against Newcastle. I really did, but obviously Newcastle got the win there. But yes, 2 points from him. Jota, 5 points. He got an assist for the penalty.
What do you think about that?
We'll get onto that in the shit list, to be fair, mate. But I mean,
enough said.
Yeah, exactly. We could have the whole podcast on that probably if we wanted to. And then the one thing I did do quite well, I did pick a decent enough captain. I picked De Bruyne as captain. So I did a little cheeky poll on Friday before the deadline about who to captain, KDB, Jota, or De Bruyne were the options I put on there. And De Bruyne won that quite comfortably, the poll. Yes, he got an assist. He also got 3 bonus points. I mean, he was by far the best player on the pitch. He was quality. He got 8 points, so got me 16. So happy with that. Then up front, Daka. I had Daka in my side. He got 9 points, so he got a goal. He also got 3 bonus points for Leicester. So that was a good move, bringing him in. St. Maximin, just the 1 point from him. He got yellow carded, I think. So yeah, again, he's got, a couple of players have cost me probably this game week potentially because they've got yellow carded. It's cost me 2 or 3 points.
He again put in a good ball in for Willock at the end. Willock should have scored.
He should have done. Yeah, could have been 2. Yeah, an assist. That'd been it. And then my bench, I had McGovern as a goalkeeper from Norwich, who's not going to play, 0 points. Kilman from Wolves, just the 2 points. He was my first sub. Then my real downer was Brandon Williams, 7 points, clean sheet, and a bonus point for Norwich. And then also Adam Idar, 5 points because he got an assist as well. I've got 14 points there sitting on my bench across my 3, which is annoying. But I didn't fancy Norwich at Watford, and I know you said in last podcast the duo win at our place. To be fair, because they haven't done it for that often, but I just didn't see anyone bringing them in. I thought Watford would definitely score because Watford are good at scoring goals. That's something they can do. Watford's problem is always shipping them at the other end, which obviously was very true. So maybe in hindsight I should have gone with a third striker on there, but never mind. So I'm on 45 points. It's all going to come down to hopefully Ben Foster starts in the next game, and even Josh King don't do anything at all. Foster could drag it out and make it look like Heath could be winning with a clean sheet up until the last minute, and then he concedes. That'd be quite nice to make it good. But yeah, I think it's going to be tight this week. I think personally, I think Heath probably will get the game week win, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see. I'm taking the pressure off me there by saying. Very deliberate that was of me. I wasn't trying to be nice to Heath and say, "Oh yeah, you should win this." I was being a bit of a dick, really, and just sort of taking all pressure off me. And then it's like I can always do that. Well, I told you were going to win it, didn't you? If you did
So I'm going to add to that as well and say I agree with you. I think I'm going to win this game week.
Yeah, that's the spirit, pal.
Take even more pressure off you.
Yeah, you don't get to say that very often, so I understand why you're saying it. So we'll see. You won't be saying it much more because Big Mo will be back soon. So
surely he's got an injury till the end of the season. You'll just pick Mane and he'll just be as good. So
yeah, maybe. So that's the game week review.
Nice, yeah. Well, we've obviously got a lot of frustration between us for multiple reasons. So without further ado, here is our shit list. And just to remind you guys, the shit list is pretty much what it says on the tin. We have a maximum of 5 people. It could be COVID, could be weather, could be players, could be managers, could be VAR, could be anything, referees, linesmen, anything, could be us. So, but we have a max of 5, whatever they are. I can sense that there's a lot of frustration with State. As you could probably tell, there's a minor bit of frustration with me as well. So, State, you kick us off, and let's just see what you've got to offer.
Referees, the number one at the top of the list. There's been some absolute howlers this weekend, but I'm going to focus on the main howler, to be fair, because it's got to start there, and it is the penalty Liverpool got given against Palace. It just really, really irks me. Now, I'm not saying Liverpool didn't deserve to win that game, and they did. Liverpool first half in particular played really well, but the penalty I just don't get right. If there's no VAR, then it's a little bit more understandable because these things happen in the heat of the moment. You can see it in a different light, but VAR's then told him to go look at it. He's looked at it. How many times he's looked at it? 10, 20 times? Who knows? But he's still given the penalty. I mean, surely that's just a big, big sign that there's something really badly wrong here, because I'm not even necessarily blaming VAR. I'm not blaming VAR for this one. It's the referee's gone to the screen and looked at it, and he still sees that as a penalty. Now, I looked at the first replay, because when I first saw it, I thought, maybe, yeah. But then when you get shown the replays, then I'm like thinking, oh my God, it's not a penalty. Can't be giving that. And then the amount of ex-pros have been coming out with it, match of the day too, all coming out with it. Shearer, Lineker, Jennings, they're all there saying the same thing as well. Neil Warnock came on this morning. Of course, he didn't think it was a penalty, Neil Warnock. He was like, I watched it first time and it never a penalty. I'm sure he was refraining himself from swearing on live radio, but we luckily don't have those restrictions on this podcast. So yes, referee, what the fuck was he thinking?
But you've got to have some common sense if you're the referee. I mean, it's that VAR seems like it's making them either very lazy or they're shitting themselves or something, but worried that they're going to get kind of like told.
That was just obvious, like I said, and that's where that VAR was there to help him, and he's looked at it plenty of times. So I just don't get how he's, after looking at it so many times, he's not realised he's made a big bloody mistake there.
The one thing I would say though, mate, is to be fair to the referee, he didn't give anything, right? So the VAR guys have also said to him, you've got to check that out. So there's
which
not just
not
him who thinks that,
no,
which again
but
is ridiculous. I'm not saying that he's right, because
yeah,
I still think it's
and that's
ridiculous,
that's
but
that's part of VAR's job, yeah, to sort of say, "Oh, Kevin, yeah, we think you might need you to just have a quick check on that, because there was some contact, but you just need to double check it." Great, okay. Kevin goes and checks it, says, "Nah, it's definitely not a penalty because it's not," and that's it. But my real concern with it is that he actually thought that was a penalty, and I just can't see how he sees that. It's not like all these other ex pros and referees are coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, it was a penalty." I can see how it's given. Everyone's coming out and saying, "How on earth is that a penalty?" Which just tells you it's a big howler. And like I said, it's costing points. It's costing fantasy points maybe for some people. Maybe if you got Fabinho, you were happy with that. Obviously it gave me Yotta an assist, so I benefited from it. But as a football fan, I just don't get how that can be given as a penalty. It's a bad one. The Harry Kane incident with Thiago Silva, I think it's a little bit harsh on Kane, to be fair. But at the same time, you see a lot of them given in the area against the defender. What happens to giving a bit of a benefit of the doubt here to the attacking team? We want to see goals scored more often than not. Thiago Silva's just used his experience there, hasn't he? As an older player, he's made it look a bit theatrical. He's practically dived into the second tier at Stamford Bridge behind the goal, I think. So there's that one which was sort of deemed a little bit contentious.
just
There's
before you move on, because I can sense you're going to, but the other thing that's strange is that I hadn't seen those goals until today, but I had seen the Watford goals the night that they lost on the way back, and I saw the first goal, and I
Pookie
didn't think,
challenge.
yeah, I didn't think anything of it, and then when the Spurs game happened, there's a whole load of Watford fans on social media saying, how is that not a goal, and how is that
It,
Norwich goal a goal?
he's one.
I,
Yeah.
and to be honest, they both look really soft. So when it happened against us, I didn't even think. And this is a little challenge for you guys. If you watch back to the build up before the first Norwich goal, virtually the same. The only difference is our defender doesn't go down as theatrically as Silva
Thiago
does.
Silva. Yeah.
And again, probably not using experience as much as Thiago Silva has. But they both look so weak and look like fine goals, to be honest.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so that's it. And then the final part with like refereeing and VAR, but I think this one was a VAR one. It's like I'm still struggling to see how Manchester United's goal was not given as offside.
I don't
Now,
know, mate.
because right, they have all these intricate lines, right, which they've been using last season, this season. Now, maybe the slight alteration in the rule is why it's not, but Cavani's clearly got part of his body ahead of the line, and he's offside. Then okay, have we gone back to clear daylight or something, or has it got to be a meaningful part? I mean, what part of your body is it that's got to be offside? Is it your pecker? Is it your arse cheek? Is it your right foot? Your left toenail? Is it your right hand? Have you got to be giving them like the V sign or something to be deemed as offside? What if you've got longer hair? What if your hair's like sticking out? Does that mean you're offside? Who knows? But Cavani was offside. I'm pretty sure about that. VAR looks at it, the line's there, goals given. Not sure how, but
It
yeah,
looked really suspect. Although the one thing I would say to that was, I absolutely love that goal just for the raw passion of, like, I'm not a Man United fan, and I don't dislike West Ham, but the fact that when you score a last minute goal like that and it means that
yeah,
much, that when you see people like Cavani
yeah,
and Bruno Fernandes, and they've obviously been having this frustration within them, saying they
mm,
shouldn't be where they are in the league and all this
yeah.
kind of stuff, to
No,
see
it was
them
a
score
big
that goal.
moment.
But it was definitely, it definitely in real time, and even when they like showed it, and to be fair, like Man United fans out there are going, it's onside, look at the lines, and
Oh,
fair enough, like I'm not
I've
disputing that, but it just didn't look
no,
onside.
I've got. I'd played football Saturday, and we were just having a beer afterwards in the club, and two of my mates who are Man United fans got like a stream up on the phone, and both of them were like, "That's offside." They were
Yeah.
both like, "But who cares? Ref's not giving it, we'll take it." And that little bit of luck, might be just what United needs. The right back up in the in that top four race. Obviously, they've won the last two. West Ham have lost the last two. Arsenal not picked up results last two. Spurs obviously lost to Chelsea. Um, Spurs have got games in hand which can propel them into that top four spot. But like you said, it could be a catalyst for United. That last kick of the game win, and like you said, you saw that it meant a lot to them. They knew it was a big result, and yeah, they'll be trying to use that now as a springboard, won't they? But yeah, so the refereeing and the VAR stuff. That's what's really irked me about all football this weekend, more than my fantasy team by a country mile. Now, if we need to go onto my team, I'm just a bit annoyed with Wolves. To be fair, not keeping a clean sheet. They should have done. I mean, the goal was a bit scrappy goal that they conceded, something I wouldn't have expected them to concede. So, the two Wolves lads, you're on there. You shouldn't be conceding to Brentford. You've been keeping out the likes of Chelsea and Man United's and only conceding one goal to Liverpool and one to City. So how are you letting Brentford score past you? I'm not happy. So yeah, they're on there as a bit of an afterthought, to be fair. And then yeah, in terms of the other person you mentioned about earlier, Joe Willock, yeah, he's on my shit list for missing that chance. I mean, Sam Maximin gets a nice assist there. I'm breathing a lot easier in the head to head this week because I'm on them 48 points, and never know, he might have got a bonus point for doing something like that. Who knows? So I could have been on like 49. And then if I'm 9 points clear with Heath, he can bring Martinez back in because he needs just King then to score at least. So yeah, Willock, you're on there for just a shit finish. To be fair, I could have brought others on for that, because other players of mine, created chances, but that was the main thing. Can't really have a go at Cancelo for conceding because Walker Peters' strike was pretty damn good. The Palace goal, Liverpool don't keep as many clean sheets anymore either. So yeah, that's it for my shit list. You think there'd be more to it, but my passion is and my hatred has all gone into the shit that has been the referee in that this weekend and VAR's assistance with that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I'm glad because I had like this whole stuff lined up for VAR and all those exact things you just talked about, and I'm gonna just leave them and give
Well,
them. You've
we're in
already
agreement then.
exactly. It's just ridiculous, and that's the reason why I brought up what I did because I think that the whole idea is you can understand people making some poor decisions every now and then, but it does seem like most weeks there are a handful of decisions, just like there was back in the day. But the only difference is that people allowed it a little bit because they were like, well, it's pretty difficult to referee a
Human
game of
error.
football when you've got 30, 40,000 people shouting at you. You've got 22 guys on the pitch kind of having a go at you, and you've got managers and the subs bench. Everyone can kind of concede that it's going to be difficult for a referee. But when you've got all this technology now, the excuses are just disappearing. And you just think, what more can they do? Because I mean, I do think that it felt like it was going in the right direction at the beginning of the season. It felt like the referees were allowing a lot more to go. They weren't giving out yellow cards willy-nilly, and the VAR decisions seemed like they were on. And then they just took they took a back kind of step, and it seems like it's back to where it was, that we as fans are not stupid. We're looking at things and saying, that doesn't look right. The Cavani decision, that doesn't look right. I mean, the people can show you the lines all they want, but you just can't get around the fact that it just didn't look onside. Simple as that. Watch that goal in real time and then look at the steals they've got. I know it sounds a bit kind of like conspiracy theory, but it's almost like you wonder if someone's got on the old thing and just moved the defender slightly forward and
just move the line.
They've been on Photoshop and sorted it out.
Or made the ruler wonky. Yeah, the ruler's gone wonky. Just a wonky ruler. Did not put it on a diagonal slant sort of
ridiculous,
thing.
ridiculous. But no, it is what it is. My shit list is not as going to be either. It's not going to be full either. It should probably be, but I just don't have the energy really. I'm not going to talk about Watford because I've already done that. I don't want to bore you guys. The only person I'll say from Watford is Dennis. I do think that the fact is that if you captain someone for 2 games and he gets sent off in the first game, that's a killer, right? That's like the worst.
On the shit list,
he's got to be on the shit list. But I would say to him that I believe, I could be wrong here because I didn't watch the game live, but I believe that the first yellow was a bit controversial. That it could have gone either way, could have gone to the other guy. Apparently, I don't know exactly what happened, but apparently it was a bit controversial. And the second one, it was a bit of a lunge, bit lazy. the reason why he's on my shit list is not because he got the 2 yellows in the manner he did. It's just the fact that when you're on a yellow card, you've got to be a bit cleverer than that. We desperately need Dennis for that Burnley away game. He must know that. And the thing is that I know a lot of people out there, again, having issue with the whole Nigeria thing. If you really read into it, you understand actually what happened. And I don't think it was the fact that Watford held him back. I think he made the decision himself because he wasn't guaranteed to start for Nigeria. Anyway, he must know how much we need him in the team at the moment. And he needs us just as much because he needs to create an impression to get a big move someday. Because that's why he plays. That's why he's come to Watford. He's not come to Watford to see out his career. He's gone to, use it as a stepping stone to get to the next level of team, Anyway, that was silly of him because he's now out of that crunch game. It is what it is, really. Then the next person who's on there, it's got to be Meslier, the Leeds goalkeeper for that Newcastle howler. Oh dear! I just you're down the bottom of the table and you just need that little bit of luck. And there it was. And Leeds, the team that went and smashed West Ham, they beat Burnley, then they beat West Ham. It's Bielsa's, what a great job. And then they go and lose at home to Newcastle, who only win their second, get their second win of the season. That's such a poor goal, but it's so frustrating. I think sometimes when you're watching certain teams and they just kind of like have a bad day against one of your rivals. It happens. It's one of those things. But to make a mistake like that, which he seems like a very good goalkeeper. I mean, he made a good save at the end to Willock, but at the same time, the damage was done by then. So he's got to be on the shit list, really. And then the last one is probably a collective because there's quite a lot doing it. But I just thought how scummy that group of Everton fans who were throwing stuff at the Villa. I mean, I actually think that the Villa guys, it's quite embarrassing that they fell on the floor and they're, doing all that stuff as well. But at the same time, like, you don't know, I suppose, to a certain extent what hit them. But, because there was no blood, there was no kind of bruises or anything like that. So it seemed a bit kind of weird that they fell over like they'd been snipers, But at the same time, the Everton fans are so scummy. That shouldn't be happening in this day and age. People shouldn't be allowed to throw stuff at players. I mean, it just sends out such a terrible message to people in general, to young kids, that makes such a bad impression on them. And when we see like England fans judging like Eastern European supporters for being racist and stuff, and then English fans just as bad, if not worse, than a lot of countries. Can't get on our high horse about crowd trouble and then end up doing what they did at Wembley and then having these things still happening, booing the Black Lives Matter, and it's just all sorts of stuff. But realistically, that kind of stuff just makes you kind of think, when will they learn? And if football really means that much to you, you feel like you want to actually genuinely hurt like a football player because you're upset, because you're that frustrated that you've conceded a goal. Come on, grow up, So that for me is just a just a joke, really. It shouldn't be happening, especially in the Premier League. I mean,
it's it's just like you said, it's not what you want to see. I know Rudiger was hit as well in the Chelsea match, wasn't he? By us, if we were saying that's from a Chelsea fan though, so is that something to do with him not signing a new contract? I don't know.
It's just poor around, isn't it?
But I think like you said, these players shouldn't have to be worried about going and celebrating in any particular corner or side of or part of a pitch, and have the fear of people launching things on them. It's just it's not what should be happening. And like you said, luckily all the clubs have come out with the right things. If I was Everton, I'd just say, look, when we find out who you are, we'll find your address and we'll send a big dunk over to you.
Yeah.
They'll soon be scared. And that was that. So like you said, I don't know. I mean, whether the players' delayed reaction, after being hit. 'Cause I saw a few things when Villa celebrated being thrown on them, and the players at that point
didn't respond. Yeah, I think something hit like Ramsey or something, didn't he? And he just didn't. He just kind of shook it off.
So there must have been something more then thrown for then Digne and Cash to go down. I mean, Cash, I don't think he'd go down willingly. Digne, well, he's from European football, so is he likely to go down a bit easier sometimes? Maybe I'm being stereotyping. I know you still shouldn't have had out thrown at you. I'm not I'm not, you know, I'm condemning this act. Has he gone down easy? You know, probably. Yeah, of course he might have done.
Yeah, but so anyway, that's my shit list, and to be honest, like I probably could have had quite a few on there if I would have gone all night. But I want to move on to better things, and this new feature that like we've got coming up. To be honest, I'm hoping that this will bring a bit more positivity. Otherwise, it'd be a bit of a
Yeah.
The podcast is what gets us up. You know, it gets us when we've had a bad weekend when it comes to FPL or anything like that. The podcast is the one that gets up, and this is where it's going to start. We've got rid of the negative energy. Now here comes the positivity.
I was at a do or something, and I listened to some music, and Life of Riley came on by the Lightning Seeds, and it just reminded me of goal of the month on Match of the Day. You know, back in the sort of 90s or the noughties, I forget which.
No, it's definitely the 90s. Yeah,
90s,
right.
yeah. So yeah, and I was like, oh, we should just do something like that. You know, each game week we should just put our like favorite 3 goals, or you know, I said favorite goal, but Heath said let's pick like three goals for whatever reasons. You know, it could be because of the what it meant. It could be for anything. You know, what we liked. So you know, your opinions can be different to ours. That's fine. You don't have to agree with us. You know, we're not demanding that. Um, if you disagree with us, we will heckle you though if you do it in an open platform. Just so you know, okay? But what I'm thinking is no. You know what goals do it? And he said, well, let's do 3, and I'll be focused on goals scored from my northern 10 sides that I can pick my tip players from. Heath will be doing it from his 3 southern, from his 10 southerners as well. So, Heath, take it away. What have you got for us? I reckon everyone knows one of them that'll be on there. That's for sure.
My third favorite goal of the weekend has to go to Walker Peters, home to Manchester City. I think it's just the way he scored it, the fact that he's a fullback, the way he got forward, he started the move, he came inside. It's the fact that it's against Man City as well, that they don't really concede many goals, so it must have been quite a good goal. I'm going to put him at number 3. Number 2, it's honestly, this is actually quite tough because I think that number 2, the way it kind of went in, people could say, you know, anyone can score a volley. But I actually think if you watch how the ball moves off of his foot, so this is Ivan Toney against Wolves. If you watch how the ball flies off his foot from it, so it's a free kick, back post, he said it first on the volley. And I actually think because of the way the ball flew, do you remember that Paolo Di Canio goal against Wimbledon back in the day for West Ham?
Yeah.
It's not obviously his movement isn't, but it's the fact that the ball goes with his foot and it goes off in a certain way that makes you think that looks pretty special, but not any of us could do that. I think for me that kind of made me think that was a very impressive goal, and that actually was very close to beating my number 1, which I assume is what you're going to say is the Ziyech goal against Spurs. I mean, there's something about getting the ball, putting it in the top corner, but the one thing about Ziyech, and I think Payet scored one of these, it was a bit more dramatic back in the day against Crystal Palace, where the ball goes, it's almost like going over and it dips back in, kind of comes in last minute and still goes in the top corner. The Payet one obviously went a bit higher, but that's the goal. And the fact that it was a, you know, derby against Spurs, realistically, that first goal seemed really pivotal. And for him to do that, it was stunning, absolutely stunning.
It was a great goal.
He is such a talented player as well. It's really frustrating to watch Chelsea for the last couple of years because they've brought in some really talented players, all in similar positions, and it's meant that none of them have really got going. So you know, someone like Pulisic and Ziyech, and you know, just they've had their moments.
Having that run of games, because you know Ziyech didn't really start the season. I know he's had a couple of injuries, but he's like last 3 games he started, he's picked up a couple of goals all of a sudden, and now you're thinking, right, is he now going to cement his place in the team and that? But again, like I said, it's, you know, Tuchel's got a bit of a Tuchel roulette, you know, in terms of his attacking players of how he's going to work it, hasn't he? I think at the moment.
Yeah, so I think that so just to reiterate, Kyle Walker-Peters, Ivan Toney, Hakam Ziyech. That's the order I'm going with.
Great, mate. Yeah, good top 3 there. Good top 3. So yeah, So I've created my shortlist, and I'm sort of I got 4 on my shortlist, so I need to narrow it down. I know what my number 1 is, to be fair. So that's fine. So the 3, so Sargent's on that list. Yeah, his flick were just audacious, wasn't it? It just as my one of my favourite universities were that showed a lot of guile. That did a lot of guile, and I think he was just about behind him, flicked it out there, and how it just hit the underside of the bar, just bounced over the
Adds
line
to the
and
drama,
spun
doesn't
back
it?
out. It just added
Yeah.
to the drama, and you're there thinking, "Well, did that actually go in? Did it not?" And yeah, I'm thinking Sargent is in there. I'm, I'm going to put him in at number 2, so I'm doing this completely the wrong way around. I ain't even done my number 3 yet because I've just talked myself into going into number 2 with that one. I think also it's opening goal against Norwich, against Watford for Norwich. It's a big game for them. They know a win there is vital, and he bags there, doesn't he? His header was decent, to be fair, as well. A good header, to be honest with you. And I nearly put in the OG as one of my top 4, top 3 as well. Heath, just for you, that would have been.
Oh,
But
that
yes,
was
then
disastrous.
yeah, and then so the number 3. So knowing that I'm doing this completely the wrong way around, my number 3 pick is between Ruben Neves' winner for Wolves and Oxlade-Chamberlain's goal for Liverpool. Because I don't know if you've seen Oxlade-Chamberlain's goal for Liverpool. It's a great little move, to be fair, from them. Good flow in football. Robertson then picks up the Ox out and he finishes it really nicely, to be fair, with defenders and keeper rushing at him. So I thought it was good. Neves' goal, just you watch his technique, how he just sort of places it, sort of like curls it into that bottom corner. But he's obviously on that side, so it's not a natural thing to do. But it's also for a winner, so have the importance of that winning goal. So I think I'm going to go with Neves as the number 3, just over the Ox. I think just because the goal had a bit more importance, I thought, to it anyway. And then number 1, also in the Wolves Brentford game, João Moutinho's goal. I mean,
Yeah,
that
it's
was
a good goal.
delightful, lovely little 1-2, and outside of the foot, just fills it round a couple of players and into the corner of the net. And he's a lovely footballer, Moutinho. He's not your usual. He's one of our when we do the scouting missions. Great to watch sort of person, but he ain't a good fantasy player really for you. He doesn't get loads
No.
of points. I mean, he's got 68 points at 4.9 million, which isn't terrible, but he's Musa Sissoko, but with maybe a couple more goals because he does take a few more set pieces, does Moutinho, but he doesn't really get many assists though, which is
It was. I
annoying.
think it was maybe even a couple of years ago that the manager was taking him off after 60 minutes
Yeah,
most games. So it was just like
mm,
he didn't want to risk it because if he took
yeah,
him off in the 50-something minute,
but he seems to be getting fitter and fitter, doesn't he? Now, to be
yeah,
honest
what
with
is he
you, and
32, 33 or something?
yeah, and I think it helps though because he's got Neves next to him. Neves is what 23, 24, something like that. So Neves isn't that old. So they're forming a really good partnership. But they're both good footballers. I mean, Moutinho scored 2 goals in his last 3 games. He's on an absolute roll, isn't he? So yeah, it was a lovely strike. Obviously, yeah, ZH's goal for me was probably the best out of the lot this weekend. If I had to pick one from our 6, but yeah, Moutinho's was just a lovely strike. So yeah, that's my 3.
Nice. The only thing I would probably argue with is maybe like although the United goal wasn't a great goal, it was the passion behind the goal that kind of made
Yeah,
me think
I,
maybe I would have thought
I
about it.
thought I thought about it, but I just
Last
thought
minute winner at Old Trafford.
it was
It's been a
offside. So
while.
I ruled it out from the basis that it was offside, in my opinion.
United
In
still
my
in fifth,
in my
sixth
expert
place.
opinion,
West Ham
yeah,
still in fourth.
yeah. So when you come to me for the end of league tables, then there you go. That's there.
Fair enough. Well, I think that's a really nice addition to the podcast, and it's a good way of just kind of highlighting some Premier League kind of skill, and especially when you see like someone like Moutinho or Neves, their goals. I mean, like I actually thought when you said Neves, I thought really because the way he scores all of his goals are pretty much from outside of the box, and that seemed like quite a mellow one compared to normal. But
Yeah.
do you know that it's still good to spell that out and kind of remind each other that even though we take this kind of standard for granted in the Premier League, it's still
Mm.
very impressive. And yeah, I had to say, like I say, the Josh Sargent goal, If I wasn't a Watford fan, I would have absolutely loved that goal because it had everything. It was very odd how he caught it, but how he caught it, hitting the crossbar, just going over the line, referee blowing the whistle, him turning around, not sure, then getting excited, like a double celebration, then going the away fans, like like we were talking about last week, there's nothing better than going away from home, seeing your team win. When those goals go in, it's the best feeling as well because you're not expecting to win. You might go to teams below you in the league and stuff, or in an FA Cup or a League Cup or something, you think, oh, we should win this. But the fact is that most of the time you're just there to get tanked up and enjoy yourself, really.
Yeah.
And that must have been a really good away game. That game for Norwich, given that we have
good
been
following, didn't it?
Yeah, they did, and they really enjoyed it. And fair play to them. I've got no problem with that at all. I've got, to be fair, that one of the kind of teams that you have the least amount of offense to, because they're just, you think, I think we're having it hard. If you're a Norwich fan, well, they've been through for the last couple of years, and what it seemed like they were going to go through this year. To be fair, they pulled it back together. I really like it if they stay up. We'll see. I mean, as long as Watford stay up too. But yeah, well, we should move on, and we should really kind of talk about how everyone else did in our mini league this week. We've
don't like talking about other people. I just like talking about us.
Yeah. we have a nice following in the mini league, and we very much like kind of looking at other people's teams, seeing how they're getting on. We've had an abundance of new members that have joined this week, so we've gone from having 25 members to 30, which was a bit of a killer for a lot of us who've seen a few red arrows drop from, I think I was around 9th, I've gone down to 15th. So all the people who've come in have pretty much gone above me, but it is what it is. We can't complain. So I mean, I think there might be a complaint from John Rogerson with Betty Swallocks FC. So
yeah, he might be.
So, State, do you want to run us through how it's all gone this week in the mini league?
We'll start at the top this week, because we've got a lot of new changes up there. So yeah, as you mentioned, some newcomers came in. I think it was 6 newcomers actually. I think we were on 24 beforehand. So those newcomers are Kevin Bernard with Crucible FC, who came in at the top, and he's quite a way ahead of the top. So he's on 1,473 altogether. He's got a good game week as well, 51 points behind him. He vice captain Dennis. He captained Kevin De Bruyne. Obviously, had listened to me. Obviously, that's what it is. That's why he's top. Obviously, so yeah, he's done quite well there.
13,000 at the moment. He's doing incredibly well. He's to be in the top 50,000 is always really good. Top 25k, however you want to kind of range it. But the fact is, at 13,000, this stage, he's had a very good season so far.
Not bad at all, has he? And then second place now is Now Then Young Man, who's followed by Mr. Ian Helliwell, who's part of an FPL group, which we'll give a shout out to later, the Pie Chart group. Yeah, I suppose that's a little bit of a shout out, but we'll say a bit more later. But he's in second place overall, but he's had a bit of a stinker this week. 25 points, not a good one. He was one of the many people who captained Dennis. Well done, Ian, lad. It's good to know that Heath's not on his own with that terrible pick. To be fair, the fact that I picked Northern team, I probably would have picked Dennis as well if I was allowed to pick Southern players. So I'd have been in that story with you all. So yeah, he's in second overall. And then a few other newcomers. Leonie Cameron's come in as well. So shout out to her. Connor Tobin, I believe he's new to the league. And then Ashton Horner as well. And I think then the other one is Bailey Mark. Or Ballymark, I might say wrong.
It's Bailey Mark, yeah. I think you go right the first time.
Yeah. With a name, the 11 Optimists. I like that. That's good. But yeah, so those are all the newcomers. So shout out to all you for joining the group. But yeah, in terms of best performing so far this week, Dentos, the gin and tonic, Simon Dent, 62 points at the moment. Captain De Bruyne. He had Digne in his team. He had Robertson, Rudiger. So he's done well. I mean, he's even managed to afford 5 points from Morpay on the bench, and leave him there. So, well done, Dentos, 62 points. There's only one other person who could maybe overtake you, but actually, no, he can't. He captained he ain't got anyone coming in, but it's a lad from my work, Ryan Bennett, 58 points. Good week for his team, Spud United. Bennett is one of these people who has double teams. He has one in the Sky Fantasy League as well as the FPL. Another one of those insane managers who are juggling different FPL games. Hats off to you as always. But yeah, 58 points from Bennett. He's like mid-table mediocrity. He's had a good week there. And then let's go down to the bottom. Let's see some low numbers now. We've got a few low numbers towards the top, but nobody is as low as these three. Now, first things first. Brever Leverkusen B, Jin Every, 18 points at the moment this game week. He captained Sterling. That didn't go down too well. Sterling didn't do much. He got 0 points from Janssen at Brentford, even though he did play. His bench doesn't look good. He's just not had a good week. He's not actually got a terrible team. He had Lukaku, Ronaldo, and Watkins up front. Sterling, Rafinha, Baptiste, Cancelo, Trent, Sarr. He's not a bad team. He's just had a nightmare week. It's just one of those weeks for old Brever Leverkusen B. They might have to be in the B division next season with performances like that. Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, dad jokes coming in. But then let's go to the bottom two. They never let us down. They are Mr. Consistent and Mr. Consistent, and we love them for it. Still propping up the league. El Badger Poopers, he's second bottom. He's got 13 points this game week.
Got Kappa coming off the bench.
Oh yeah, he's going to get 8 points coming in, isn't he?
Cheeky bastard.
That's cheeky, yeah. God, well, he'll take him into the high 20s. He's that's going to go down well for him. Captain Lukaku. I still don't think he's doing much for his team, given Fabian Delph still there.
No, he had a bit of a flirt, didn't he? Where he made a few transfers all at once. Obviously, someone got in his ear, and then he just lost interest in him.
Yeah, he's still got Salah in his squad at the moment, which I suppose
very patient.
Yeah, very patient. 13 points from El Badger, but then I think him and High Tech FC, Samuel Diamond, are having a competition about who can get the least amount.
I think we should maybe think about match fixing allegations here, because
because this man, High Tech FC, they're currently on 9 points. He's definitely not doing much. He's got Pereira, who's out with Leicester until, well, he's meant to be back soon. Pogba in his team, Zaha, Ismail Assar, his captain's Antonio. To be fair, actually, he's going to have 5 points coming off the bench for him because Benrahma, Pogba, Zaha, none of them played, and he's got 3 subs there.
And his team of red, his Christmas tree red, going right through the spine of his team's now gone on all sorts of different colours. So it feels like he's going in the right direction. Zaha, Pogba are going to be back soon.
Good bit of traffic light work going on there.
Big time.
So it's but still, as always, we're rooting for you at the bottom of the table. We are very excited to see who's going to win that Booby Prize. The winner of the Booby Prize will get a big shout out as the inaugural winner of our North vs South Booby Prize at the end of the season.
Maybe the Booby Prize can just be one big booby, like an inflatable booby.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
everyone can have a bit of fun with that. That's fine. So yeah, why not?
You can buy it.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's so not good there in terms of the North and South teams. Yeah, I mean everyone's done sort of a bit average. Essex Tykes 31 points from Pavlos. You check yourself, Liam, 24. King in the South, Eddie Moran, 35 points. Ned Starks, my dad, Harrison, good man, 28 points. Good work there, son. Chris Harrigan,
hey,
Doff Venture South, 24 points. So not great weeks for the teams. I think me and you, Heath, for showing our prowess by having the highest score in North or South.
Probably because we both played our wild cards, to be fair, and
I think it's because we're better.
Yeah, okay.
We'll go with that. Since we are higher in the league overall as well, so we can actually back that up.
But I do think that I don't want to be pedantic here, but I do think that we might have had an extra week on some of these people. I think some of them started a week after us.
It's not my problem. So I still don't think that makes much difference because I mean I'm over 200 points above all of them barring you. So I think that would have been one big week for them to catch up.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I'm still claiming she. But yeah, like you said, adding people into the league, I'm now ninth from a Champions League spot. I am now looking at upper half of the table at least. I'm not bang in the middle like you on 15th. Yeah, I need to keep that top 10 spot at the moment. That's going to be a challenge now.
But it's good to have the extra guys in there. And
yeah, they'll make the fantasy cup better later on in the season,
100%. And what we want to see from you guys, the new guys, we want to see some interesting captain picks and some basically try and make some decisions that will make State and I interested, because we'll definitely be talking about your team if you do something interesting. So yeah, make sure you keep it interesting.
Either do something big or do something shit.
And yeah,
shit, we'll give you a great.
And I think if people are still listening to this podcast and they're either not in the league or they're having a stinker, like for instance El Badger Poopers, you got your second wild card. Turn your team into a Northern or a Southern team. We'll give you more credit. We'll give you more respect.
Definitely.
I don't think we've been doing that recently. I think where you've just done that. Basically, I think I've forgotten on the previous podcast, but you've actually kind of made an effort to pick out the Northern Southern teams like you used to, or like we used to. For some reason, I've been doing that. So,
well, it's because we've been too busy focusing on my push to try and get into that top 4 spot,
which is now
over, and then giving all our kudos to the bottom of the table just to laugh at it. But because they're not making any changes, we really need to be, like you said, focusing our attentions elsewhere.
That's the mini league update, and again, guys, thank you very much for keeping your teams in, and just make sure that you keep on top of it. If you want any help or any guidance from us at all, just let us know. You know where we are. We'll mention our Twitter handles later, and just keep up the good work. Now we move on to our score results from last week, where we had North teams play Southern teams. State, how did we get on?
We did all right, to be fair, but I think there was a lot of obvious ones this week. So I'll rattle through it. I mean, we've actually ended up tied at four each, mate.
Yeah, I thought it would be, because I think I just took your picks.
You just copied me a lot of the time.
No, I think there were some obvious ones, weren't there? That came through, to be fair.
But then, so Watford versus Norwich, you had a home win. I had a draw. We neither got that right. Everton versus Villa, you had a draw, I had a home win, so neither got that. Brentford Wolves, both away wins, correct. Man United West Ham, we both went for home wins. Maybe that was probably a bit of a contentious one, but yeah. And Southampton Man City, we both went for away wins. That didn't happen, so we're still at two right each. Arsenal Burnley, everyone went for home wins. Again, no one got that right. Palace Liverpool won that game, so we both went for the away win, so moves up to 3 correct each. And then we both went for Leicester Brighton to draw. I think I even shouted 1-1 draw on the thing, to be honest with you as well. And that was happened. So yeah, we're all tied there, but we have got, I forgot to put this on the prediction, but we may as well just quickly say it now. We could have a decider. It's Burnley Watford on the Saturday the 5th, which is part of this game week. That's North versus South. So maybe we throw out a prediction here, Heath, and given your team's involved, I'll let you have first dibs here if you want.
Honestly, this is where it's bad. I know too much in a way. Our record at Turf Moor's appalling, and we don't have a manager right now. So I think to be honest, I think that we have a good team and a good squad. That if the right manager comes in between now and then, they'll have to be. You would like to think that they will be motivated and driven, that they might get something. So I'll go with a draw. I'll go with a 1-1 draw, but I mean that doesn't really mean anything. But yeah, I'll go for a draw.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna go for an away win.
So, oh yes, status.
Yeah. Hey. Well, if Burnley win now, then I get to rip you a bit more. If Watford win, I can say, well, at least I had faith in your team and I got that right. It's a draw, yeah. I don't look great, but a draw's not really any good for either side, I don't think. So I think there'll be something happening there.
It would have been quite funny if you just gone, I think a draw too, just to cancel out the decider.
I thought about it, but no, I think that new manager syndrome, because they'll have at least a caretaker manager in for that game, and everyone. I think that,
do you know what the way that Watford deal with their managers, they've always got a list of managers to come in. So I reckon they'll have someone by then. But yeah,
most likely, yeah, most likely. I think you're right, buddy. So yeah, so that's it. We won't obviously go into the following game weeks for predictions because miles away. We've got us
so much can
winter
happen.
break.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
The winter break, and it got
winter
transfers
break.
still happening. So
So
quite a lot can
yeah,
happen.
so yes, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, we're not going to do a game week preview for that reason. So no game week preview this week, but we will be back for the next game week probably with a cheeky one because actually I think we will be able to do that because yeah, we've got it on Tuesday the 8th of February. So yeah, as we sort of said earlier, you've got plenty of time now between now and the next game week. So don't be making any silly transfers in the meantime.
Yeah, be patient.
Hold back on that. We've got the transfer window. There's already some big rumours out that certain things are happening. Lingard to Newcastle on loan sounds like it's going to be completed. In the next sort of 24, 48 hours. So you're going to see other things happening in the transfer window. Yeah, old fire. There's no rush. Enjoy a week or two off, basically.
Definitely. Well, yeah, I mean, it's tight. It's tight, but it's all come down to this, mate. It's all come down to this.
Moment.
So yeah, this podcast has definitely cheered me up. I'm definitely in a different place to how I was at the beginning of this podcast. And now we move on to the quiz. And this quiz took me a little bit of time to put it together. And I'm really excited about it, right? So, State. Take into consideration FPL points, right? So a goal for a striker, 4 points, a goal for a midfielder, 5. There are going to be some contentious situations here where you may think, so let's just take for an example, someone like Dirk Kuyt. You might question whether he's a midfielder or a striker, and I will clarify to make this easier for you. But basically, I've picked out 10 classic Premier League games I'm sure you've either seen or you've heard of or you have an idea of that stand out through the test of time, right?
Yeah.
And what I want you to do, I'm going to give you 4 options. You've got to give me who you think was the highest FPL scorer for that game.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I like
and
this.
I'll give you 4 options for each game. The idea being if you can pick out whoever got the most amount of points out of those 4 players, you will get a point. Right. Okay. So it should be quite easy for you to work this out. I wasn't going to be harsh and say, who do you think was? And you had to pick out the players because obviously these games have been played over a long period of time. So I'm going to say that. And then if you give me 7 correct answers, I will do a fine. And if you can't give me more than 5, so if you get 5 or less, then you've got to do a fine. Because I think these are quite straightforward. And my first example will be, I think, will be the easiest one so that you can kind of get an idea. So 2010, Liverpool 4, Arsenal 4 at Anfield.
Arshavin.
There you go. You have an idea, right, of what happened and who was it. So your 4 options are Fernando Torres, Dirk Kuyt, Cesc Fabregas, or Andre Arshavin. If they were playing it with, I mean, FPL was around at that point, obviously, but think of certain players scoring a certain amount of points. Who got the most amount of points?
Definitely Arshavin in that game. He scored all 4 goals for Arsenal.
That is correct. Andre Arshavin. Like I say, it was the easiest one. Okay, next one. Arsenal 4, Spurs 4, 2008. Do you have an idea of what happened? What was the kind of what happened in this game?
Yeah, I know which game you're on about.
So this is where Spurs were 4-2 down with not that long ago, and
Aaron Lennon scored the late equaliser.
Exactly.
And that's not what it's most famous for. I know what it's most famous for.
And a funny fact also was that they had 2 ex-Watford goalkeepers in goal. Almunia and Gomez both making loads of howlers. It was great to watch, but he's gone. So the 4 options here are Jermaine Genius, BBC's own Jermaine Genius, Aaron Lennon, Robin van Persie, or Emmanuel Adebayor. Which one had the most amount of FPL points?
I was thinking David Bentley before you said anything. in his
Did
form.
score, yeah.
I'm gonna go with Jermaine Genius.
It's close, mate, but no cigar. So
That's
Genius got
Thursday.
Genius did get a goal and assist, and obviously because he's a midfielder, he would have got 5 points for the goal. But Van Persie got 2 assists and a goal. He would have just got, like I say, he probably would have got bonus points. You know how it would have got, but I've got him down without bonus points or bookings or anything like that. I've got him down as 12 points. Genius 10, Adebayor 9, and Lennon 7.
Fair
So
enough, yeah.
now this is probably one of the most famous games, probably, I'd say. Man United 8, Arsenal 2, 2011. And what's your recollection of that before I give you the options?
I remember being in the pub for that game after a Sunday league match. It was on a Sunday. It was a Super Sunday game, and yeah, I just remember Arsenal just getting absolutely ruined by United. One player in particular stood out for United, a former Watford man. So yeah, let's see what options you've got.
Yeah, so he is on there. So Ashley Young.
Yeah.
Then you got Wazza, Wayne Rooney, Danny Welbeck, and Robin van Persie. And obviously Welbeck was at United, but I think there are some scores on this group of games that I've got here where I think it will be a bit silly if I gave you 2 Arsenal, 2 United. So because Man United were the dominant team here, I've given you 3 United and 1 Arsenal.
Yeah. So my immediate thought was Ashley Young because I remember him scoring a couple. I think he also though got some assists in this game. And my only question is though, then did Wayne Rooney go up the other end or Van Persie go up the other end and bag a hat trick as well? Rooney might have got a hat trick. Yeah. I'm going Ashley Young.
That's a good answer. So Ashley Young scored twice and got 3 assists, 21 points, taken away bonus. Wayne Rooney, 19 points. He got a hat trick and an assist. And then Welbeck got the first goal, just 1 goal. Van Persie actually missed a penalty and scored. So he wouldn't have had that many anyway. But yeah, you've got that one. So that's 2 out of 3. Now the next one's good fun. I actually remember watching this one on Soccer Saturday, and it was just crazy. I think it was a Chris Kamara game. Could be wrong, but I think it was just crazy. So this is Portsmouth 7, Reading 4 in 2007. Now, this is basically it's quite tough for you, but it is what it is. So your 4 options are Suleiman Tari, Benjani, Stephen Hunt, and Nicky Shorey. And just to remind you, Portsmouth 7, Reading 4.
I remember Stephen Hunt getting a couple of goals, I think, that game.
And just an FYI, I did take into consideration minus points for defenders.
It's going to take me away from Nicky Shorey, to be honest with you, because he was playing for Reading. He probably scored a goal or got a couple of assists because he took free kicks and stuff, didn't he? Benjani strikes me that he got a few that game, but I know Suleiman Tari had a game where he scored like a few goals as well. But I'll go with Benjani. Probably not going to be the right answer. But
no, that's a good answer. He scored a hat trick. So I've got him down as 14 points. Again, probably would have got 17. Montari got a goal and assist. He took one of the penalties. Stephen Hunt got a goal and assist. Now, Nicky Shorey was the one that I remember thinking he's done all right. But I think that it was because he took the penalty. He missed the penalty. David James saved, but then he got a goal at the end anyway. And I remember it really clearly now that whoever I was in a mini league with, one of my mates had Nicky Shorey, and when I see he had a penalty saved,
yeah,
I was getting in his face a bit, and then he scored later on. But it was what it was. So yeah, that was that's correct. So you've got 3 out of 4 so far. So you're well on your way to getting 7 here. Now the next one, I think this one's going to be a bit more close to your heart, right? West Ham 5, Bradford City 4. And I mean, obviously, given that you're not far from Bradford, you should know this one very, very well. So we've got Peter Beagrie, Jamie Lawrence, Paolo Di Canio, or Frank Lampard.
going with Peter Beagrie.
Okay, well, unfortunately, it's not the right answer. You could have gone for either of the 2 in the middle, and you would have won. But Jamie Lawrence and Paolo Di Canio both got 12 points. Beagrie only the 10, Lampard 7. So unfortunately, yeah.
Damn it.
But do you remember what happened in that game? Why that game was quite famous?
I don't, that game was pretty much not in my memory. I've got
So
a mate who's a lifelong Bradford fan who would definitely remember everything about it, I'm sure.
so Di Canio went down, wasn't given a penalty. He then ran off to Harry Redknapp to ask to be substituted. He sat down and decided not to play for a bit, but Harry told him to get on with it. They then got a penalty, and Di Canio decided he was taking it, even though Lampard looked like he was the penalty taker. So they had a little fight over it. Di Canio then scored, and then later on, Di Canio was like a man possessed, and he set up Lampard for his goal that won them the game. So it was a Paolo Di Canio show. I mean, he's a bit of a legend. I mean, some people look at him one way, some people look at him another, but I think he's brilliant. But yeah, so that was one of those games, and yes, Jamie Lawrence. Though, I mean, that's I think the only thing he did in like the Premier League, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think he did anything else, to be honest with you. Definitely don't think he did.
The next game is a game again. This is going back even further. So that was going back to the 2000 season. Yeah.
I think that because Bradford had their 2 seasons, 99, 2000, and 2000, 2001. I think.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, this next one goes all the way back to 1996. Again, very famous. Southampton 6, Manchester United 3. Now, the 4 options here are Egil Ostenstad, Matt Letizia, Isle Berkovic, or David Beckham.
I'm not going with Beckham. I'm not going with Letizia either. I think it's Berkovic or Ostenstad. Ostenstad did all right against United. All right, I'm gonna go with Berkovic because I think he scored. Maybe got 2 and he got some assists as well.
That's a good answer. So Ostenstad, he got a hat trick and an assist. Would have got him 17 points. Berkovic got 2 goals and 3 assists. Would have got him 21 points. Beckham got a goal and assist. Letizia, I put him in there as a cheeky one because I thought you might think, Letizia scored a great goal in that game. Maybe, but no, he just scored the 1 goal. It was a great goal. David May popped up with a goal and assist.
Oh, David May.
And also, when I was watching it back, he had a little bit of a trip in the net. He had a trip in the net when he scored his goal, which the home fans didn't give him any grief for, which I thought was quite mature of them. But yeah, it was what it was. So that's 4 out of 6. So the next one is in 2011. Newcastle 4, Arsenal 4. Arsenal will have a 4-4. So your options are Theo Walcott, Robin van Persie, Joey Barton, or Leon Best. And do you remember what happened in this game? Newcastle, Arsenal.
Yeah, when Newcastle like 4-1 down or something.
4-0 down at half time.
4-0 down, yeah.
And do you remember who scored the equaliser?
Tiote.
That's correct, yeah.
I think Leon Best got 2, but I don't think he got any assists. I could be wrong there. But I'm going to go with Robin van Persie.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not correct. So, Theo Walcott, goal and assist. Van Persie, 2 goals. But Joey Barton, 2 goals, 2 penalties. Do you remember him taking penalties? So he would have got 12 points because he would have been a midfielder, obviously, 5 points for each goal. I'm sure he probably would have been booked, but then that still wouldn't have been enough. So, yeah, Barton wins that one. Next one, 1997, Liverpool 4, Newcastle 3. The second 4-3.
Second one, right? Okay.
And your options are, this is going to be tricky because you might be thinking about the first one because that's how I think. So the options are Robbie Fowler, Steve McManaman, David Ginola, or Faustino Asprilla.
Robbie Fowler.
Nailed it. 100% nailed it. 13 points. It actually wasn't that close. So Robbie Fowler, 2 goals and an assist. Asprilla was the only one who was closest. He got a goal and assist. Scored that great goal where it just looped up in the air. And I couldn't remember that game as clearly as the next one, which is also Liverpool 4, Newcastle 3, this time in 1996. And your options are Stan Collymore, Robbie Fowler, Leslie Ferdinand, and Faustino Asprilla.
Right. This one's a little bit more of a tricky one. I'm going to go with Stan Collymore. I think Collymore got 2 goals.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, Jeff. 2 goals and assists from Stanley Collymore. I'll tell you what, 13 points. It was very close between all 4, really. Fowler got a couple of goals. Ferdinand got on a goal and assist. Asprilla, goal and assist. But yeah, Collymore gets it. So that means you've now got 6. Is that right?
How many have we done? Have we done 8 or 9?
This is the 9th one. So I think you got 6 because you got 3 wrong, right?
Yeah.
6. So 6, that means that you can no longer get a fine. But this one is fine territory for me.
Yeah, come on.
Now, there were other games out there. There was, I think there was a 4-3 between Spurs and West Ham. There was a 5-4 between Spurs and Arsenal. There was a Chelsea 2, Tottenham 2. There was Leicester, the 5-2 against United. There's all sorts of games that I could have mentioned, but I thought, what's the most dramatic game really in Premier League history? So I've gone with Man City 3, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Now, your 4 options. This is from 2012, by the way. Your 4 options are Djibril Cissé, Jamie Mackie, Pablo Zabaleta, Sergio Aguero.
Now, goal scorers in the game. Zabaleta scored the first for City. Then Cisse and Mackie made it 2-1 to QPR. Dzeko got credit with the equaliser for City. Then Aguero obviously scored the winner. I'm going to go with Zabaleta.
Is that your final answer? There's a lot riding on this.
Yeah, I'm going for Zabaleta.
It's the right answer.
Process of elimination there, my friend.
No, you did well there. So even though Zabaleta would have got a minus point for QPR scoring twice, the fact is he scored 6 points for his goal, and therefore he would have won out of the 4, out of anyone on the pitch that day. So congratulations, mate. You got 7 out of 10. Means you can give me a fine.
Right. You're not allowed to captain Kane in your next game week.
I mean, I don't know who they're playing off the top of my head.
They're at home to Southampton.
Fair enough. Okay, I'll take that. That seems quite nice. Just because Kane hasn't exact. I mean, Kane's getting better, but still don't know if I would risk a captaincy on him. But fine, I'm taking that.
That's it. That's fine.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that, mate. Because to be honest, it was really enjoyable watching those games back and reminiscing myself. So
hearing some of those games are absolute belters. Yeah, the only one I don't really have much recollection was that West Ham one. To be fair, I might have to go back and watch that. So
please do, just for Jamie Lawrence's hair and Dean Windass with hair.
God, that's definitely a while back.
And what I didn't realise was they had Gunnar Haller at right back, which I didn't even have any clue that he is at Bradford, but apparently he was. David Wetherell, obviously scoring that goal against Liverpool, but he was there as well. Yeah, definitely watch it, mate. It's a game that I think kind of, and if you've ever watched those kind of funniest moments in the Premier League and stuff, it often comes up because of Di Canio's reaction and stuff. And the fact that he fought with Lampard, it was quite a few things going on. He had enough because Bradford basically targeted him and kept on kicking him throughout the game. There he got in a strop and was like, "Oh, referee's not going to give me anything. I might as well come off." And obviously he didn't and do what he did. But yeah, well done, mate. Good work. That wasn't as easy as I thought, but it was also, it seemed, it wasn't as difficult that you weren't struggling. So happy days. You got good footballing knowledge anyway. So I knew you were going to do all right. But yeah, and that's our podcast, guys. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Just to reiterate, like I said earlier, if you want to get in contact with us at all, then we have 3 different Twitter handles. So we got the North versus South Twitter page, which is at FPL NVS. Then you've got States, which is at FPL_Northerner, and mine, which is at FPL Southerner. There's nothing in between. It's all on Word. I don't miss the underscore anyway. Didn't want it anyway. So, but yeah, guys, as usual, absolutely love it. Like I say, you can hear in my voice now. I'm excited about football again after this podcast, and I can't wait to get out there. All I'm thinking right now is, do I go with a sad Claudio Ranieri as the artwork for this podcast, or do I go with Dennis, not so much a menace, as the podcast? So I'm thinking, I'm on the fence at the moment.
Do a cheeky poll.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Might have to, mate. But yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for listening. And yeah, we're going to try and get something out there in between the winter break. We try and do a NASCAR or try and do a team of the past or something like that. Maybe we'll come up with something different. But we'll try and get something out to you between now and the next game week, because obviously we're going to probably record another podcast before that Burnley Watford game. So yeah, we'll definitely put something out there for you.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah. Take care.